Are you thinking about becoming the boss? You want to be the one that calls all the shots. You want to be the one that runs the cleaning company, not works for the cleaning company. I get it. I'm Angela Brown, and this is Ask a House Cleaner. This is a show where you get to ask a house cleaning question, and I get to help you find an answer. Now, Caitlin wrote into the show, and she said, "Hello, my name is Caitlin. I've been a house cleaner for 5 years, and I was wondering how I go from working with a company to working for myself. I'm an amazing house cleaner, and my current clients adore my work. They're always calling my employer to tell them how amazing I did. They tell me that they don't care about price compared to my work, and after I clean for a new customer, I always get a compliment, and I get asked to be on their rotations. I do more detailed and deep cleans than normal cleans, and I also make sure my work is presentable, like labels out and organizing bottles and such. At my company, I work 4.5 to 5 hours per house, size and cleaning depending. My employer's current rate is $34 an hour flat rate. I figured out that I would start at this price and then have add-ons such as fridge, oven, laundry, etc. I already own my own cleaning supplies. The biggest problem I'm facing is that I want to make about $45,000 per year. I feel that I'm worth that as a house cleaner and eventually get to $75,000. But how do I do that? And is that realistic? Would it be better to charge by rooms to increase my salary? I do have student loans to worry about and getting health insurance for myself, along with insurance for my company. What do you think is the best and most profitable way for me to make this transition? I know this is a big question, so thank you for taking the time for me. Okay, Caitlin, becoming your own boss. Super exciting. I love your entrepreneurial spirit. The first thing that I want you to do is to admit that you are now a boss. Even if you still work for a company, in your mind, it starts right here. You are now a boss. Everything that you do, every decision that you make, you are now the boss. You got to have adult grown-up conversations with the boss that you have. My suggestion is that you go to them first and you say, hey, I'm thinking about going out on my own. I would like to transition as smoothly as possible, as quickly as possible, and I would like to be an independent contractor for your company. So what that means is this. They're going to be sad. They're losing one of their best star employees. And the first thing that you're going to say is, I will work my same regular clients to fill in the gaps while you find someone to replace me. Okay? So now you're making a part of the job. They're making a part of the job, but now you work for yourself. Okay? The customers that you're working for now that love you and they adore your work, they are not your customers. They do not get to be your customers. And ethically, it would be foolish for you to go to them and try to snag them away from the company that gave you this job. Don't do that. All right, so the next thing is you're going to have to start a website. So I recommend that you go to the employer that you have and say, can we change the way that we collect ratings and reviews? So that instead of collecting a rating and review for the entire company, you collect a rating and review based on my work alone. Now we do this at Savvy Cleaner. Every independent contractor and every employee has a page where you can rate that individual specific person on their merits alone. So we do have collective, Savvy Cleaner recommendations, but for each individual person, then should they ever go out on their own, they have this whole base of recommendations and letters and, love notes from clients that they can take with them to their next job. It's about them as a person. So that's what we want to do for you. We want to get your own ratings and reviews. The next thing is we want you to set up a website so that you can display those ratings and reviews. So there are a lot of expenses. You said you wanted to start out at $34 per hour. And if you work 8 hours a day times 40 hours a week, which is 50 weeks per year, I'm guessing, that's going to be about $68,000 at $34 per hour. If you work every single hour, 8 hours a day, and you have no cancellations and you have no commute time and everyone pays on time and all of those things, which is really not very realistic. But those are the big numbers. Okay, the big numbers do not include all of the business expenses. And so as a business owner, you have to start thinking in terms of not, I'm going to earn $45,000 a year, but how much money do I have to earn, the big picture, in order to end up with $45,000 a year? Because what happens is this, you have a vehicle which has vehicle expenses. Those are going to be oil changes and tire rotations and tires and car washes, and it's going to be fuel for your vehicle and insurance and tags and registration and all that stuff. Then you have cleaning supplies. So you have all of your cleaning supplies and equipment, which would be vacuums and mop buckets and electric drills or whatever it is you use. And you're going to have equipment and cleaning supplies expenses. The cleaning supplies are ongoing expenses, where the equipment is kind of a one-time expense. You replace them every few months or every few years, but it's not like every week you replace your equipment. It's not like that. But you do have ongoing cleaning supply expenses. You also have uniforms. So that's another expense to throw in the mix. While you're writing out your expenses, I want you to think of all of the behind the scenes. You got to have a website. You got to have web hosting. You got to register your domain name. You're going to have a phone service of some sort, a cell phone, a smartphone, a cell phone service. You're going to have internet access. You're going to have all that stuff. You got to pay for all that stuff. You mentioned in here insurance. So you're going to have your health insurance, which was important to you. You also have your general liability insurance. And then should you expand and hire someone along the way, you will have workman's comp, which is a different kind of insurance altogether. So there are a lot of different things to think about when it comes to being a boss. And I want you to start thinking of them right now. Now, think of it in terms of like having a kid. When you get pregnant, you have 9 months, and there's 9 months of stuff rolling through your head before the kid even arrives. And you start thinking about, what am I going to do about babysitting? Where are they going to sleep? And you start redecorating your house, and you start putting stuff in order, and you start doing things because now you're thinking in terms already of being a parent. This is the exact same thing. The moment you decide, I'm becoming a boss, it's like I'm becoming a parent, you start putting all of these different situations, scenarios, and systems in place so that everything runs smoothly once the child arrives, right? So the moment that you flip that switch and you become your own boss, you're going to have stuff already in place, because no longer will you just be given a job with a listing and a client's name and you show up and you do the job. You now have to figure out, can I afford to spend 4.5 or 5 hours on a job? You might discover that 3 hours is your max because time is of the essence. And you might decide that you have to raise your prices. And you might have to also decide that you cannot afford to do a deep clean at every single house. And so you might have to do a maintenance clean and then sell the deep clean as a special package at a separate price. So there are a whole bunch of decisions that you are now going to make that you did not make as an employee. So becoming a boss is one of the most exciting things you will ever do. You will work harder for yourself than you ever worked as an employee. And in the beginning, you will make a whole lot less money. Did I just say that? I did! Because that's the reality. And I don't want to scare you away. I want to inspire you and I want to encourage you. But this is a process. It's a huge, huge commitment, like becoming a parent. It's not something you just do, and if it doesn't work out, you walk away. Because you have a lot of expenses and a lot of investment that are inside the process, okay? I'm excited for you. I'm here rooting for you, and I want you to keep me posted. So leave your questions and comments in the notes below. And my question is, are you the boss? Are you the boss, and do you work more for yourself than you ever did as an employee? Let's just have a running tally and find out what the truth of that is. Alrighty, until we meet again, leave the world a cleaner place than when you found it.